You like being offensive.
Oh, please, I am not offensive. I'll tell you, liberals like being offended is the issue.
No.
Documented immigrant who has lived in this nation for almost 22 years wants to, as a sign of my humanity and yours, recognize you and say, can I give you a hug?
No, let's get on with the question.
Okay.
But I wanted to ask you, what's your family's immigration story? Are you a Native American?
Why, yes, I am. I'm a settler. I'm descended from settlers, not from immigrants.
Well, it's not a Native American. You were, but I have a question for you.
It's just an
No, if you mean
Indian, if you mean
Ann Coulter.
well, no, but I'm not living in Cherokee Nation, so I am not an immigrant to Cherokee Nation. I'm living in America, which was created by settlers, not immigrants.
I have a question.
But
can I interrupt you for 2 seconds, please?
Yes, the poorest
I have a question. My mom taught me when I was younger, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. And why do you think that it's important? Why do you think that's important to mudsling and have these words that obviously touch the hearts and souls of so many people of America being said when we're taught something different as a child? Could you explain that to me? And why do you think your success is based off of that?
Well, I'm at least talking about policy. You have a position on what people's names should be. Watermelondria. I mean, you'll insult people for their names. I'm talking about a government policy that affects all Americans and immigrants and the people living here, and it's harming our country.
So are you?
So you don't follow it.
Are you
I didn't ask
against?
you okay.
Are you?
Thank you for coming.
Thank you. It was a
I'm
great
so sorry
speech.
that they were so rude to you. Like, seriously, my idol, Bill.
God
Seriously.
bless you. You see, all the pretty girls are on my side. Absolutely not. You are wrong about that, and that is the interesting.
Kill anybody. That's all I'm saying.
No, it's of course it's not every. The point is, you look at it from the other end.
You know, and
When you look at the prison end, and no, it is not true that I'm leaving out race. There is, in fact, I cite a study by the Progressive Policy Institute, a liberal institute, saying that if you take single motherhood out of the equation, the black and white crime rates are exactly the same. So you take everything else out. Single motherhood is not good for children. That is a fact, and it is a fact that it is promoted.
Numbers are wrong. The numbers are wrong.
No, you're just citing other
Who get
fanciful
food stamps?
numbers.
Mostly white people. Only 10.3% of Hispanics get them.
No immigrants should be getting any government assistance. Why would any country take people who immediately go on government assistance? It's madness. We want people who bring our average up, who don't bring the average down. American government should be concerned with the American people, and by the way, that includes immigrants at this point. Immigrants who came in last year and the year before that.
Hey, here we are. And which Republican candidate has the best chance of winning the general election?
Of the declared ones, right now, Donald Trump. I especially like
What about of all of them? I mean, Scott
fake
Walker.
laughter from the audience.
Two women getting it on? Or?
No, the last time I did was the Katie Couric interview with Hillary Clinton. Other than that, I have no experience with two women having sex.
Are you taking a dig at Katie?
I read the whole book, and I think you're afraid of 2044. In 2044, non-Hispanic whites will become a minority, and you don't want that.
Well, I do think the whole country will be changed when it becomes a
But what's wrong with diversity?
white country.
What's wrong?
It's not diversity.
So you don't want people like me? No, you don't want people like me here.
No, it's not diversity. It's Mexican. One-third of all immigrants come from one country. That is not diversity.
Your family
in
came
immigration.
from Ireland, right?
No,
It's a European.
It mostly settlers, yeah, not immigrants.
All right. So do you want in the late 1800s and in the early 1900s there were signs, Nina signs, that said no Irish need apply.
No, that's nonsense. It turns
So you want us to go back to those days?
No, it turns well. A, that isn't true. I don't know what that has to do with anything. But as I told you, they have Mandarins in the audience. They have Hispanics in the audience.
What is Mandarin?
It's exactly the opposite of demographic panic. It has nothing to do
Asian Americans, Ann. Asian Americans, not Mandarins.
It has nothing to do with demographics. It
But your
has to do
throwback language, it's not 1913. They're called Asian Americans,
Anyway,
not Mandarins.
I was saying, it has nothing to do with demographics. It has to do with whether you are here legally or illegally, whether you consider yourself an American, whether the laws on the books are going to be enforced. an invasion of people across the southern border.
If your default in discussing Asian Americans is to call people Mandarins,
Anyway,
we're not bringing back arcane language here, Ann. Let's just talk about people as Americans, Asian Americans. That's the
no, you're not going to police my language. They are Mandarins. It is written in Mandarin.
The point is, before Teddy Kennedy's 1965 Immigration Act, there was more diversity in immigration. Diversity should mean we take an equal number from, all the countries in the world. I think that would be a stupid policy, but that would at least be diversity. Still talking. That's not what we're doing now. We are taking 30% of all legal immigrants from Mexico, 60% of all illegal immigrants from Mexico. Instead of taking 5% or more from 7 different countries, which was the case before 1965,
mostly European countries that you
we're
want.
taking them all from Mexico. Well, okay, but
so your problem is with Mexicans, but not with Europeans.
No, you said what's the matter with diversity. I'm telling you it's not diversity. I'm just getting our facts straight. And no, I didn't want to live in Mexico.
Facts. So
I don't want to live in Ireland. I don't want to live in Scotland. I wanted to live in America. Why don't liberals? Why do you think that the Mexicans who fled here want to recreate Mexico here? No, it helps your power because your media desirability goes up a lot. But you're not speaking for the immigrants who came here from Mexico. They left Mexico. They came
and
to
it's an economic situation. It's simply an economic situation. They come here because there are thousands of American companies who hire them, and because there are millions of Americans, including you, who benefit from their work.
It's more than economic because you have something like 2.4 trillion people in the world living on like $2 a year. They'd all like to come here. Mexico happens to be within walking distance. So you're the one who's discriminating against the poor Bangladeshis who would love to come here, but they can't walk across the border. Why should we discriminate against them?
So let me just say this at the end.
It is not diversity. It is just changing our culture without checking with the American people into Mexico.
Let me just finish with this. So you think there are way too many immigrants in this country?
It's not only that there are way too many, we're getting immigrants who are immediately going on welfare, who are committing crime. No immigrants should be committing crime.
The majority of immigrants are not terrorists or criminals.
It should be zero. Why would you invite? Look, we can't do anything about our own underclass. We can't do anything about native criminals. We can do something about people we're inviting into our country.
So let me know about
Before
Latino
1970, immigrants were more likely to graduate from college, were more likely to make more money, were less likely to be on welfare, were more likely to own their own homes. Post-1970, upside down.
That is not true. Second generation Latinos
Not true.
tend to get better jobs, better salaries, better salaries. They go to college. You have 4 million Latinos who have bachelor's degrees. This is 1.4 million Latinos who have PhDs of master's degrees.
Better than what? Better than their parents.
Better than
the native population.
Better than their parents. That's second generation Latinos.
Their parents
who cares,
we're
Ann?
utter peasants. Doing better than their parents isn't better than the native population.
Second generation Latinos are doing much better. Than their parents. Of course.
No, we're not in an international humanitarian process here. American government should be protecting the American people, not helping out the people of the world. This isn't an international charity mission.
Well, that's the tradition in this country, and this is a country that was formed by immigrants, including your family and my family. We all came from another country.
I didn't come from another country.
Well, your family did.
No, it didn't.
Of course it did.
No, it didn't.
Of course it did.
There was no, it did not. My family came from America because there was no America until they came.
Okay, before your parents, they came from somewhere.
If they taught American history,
Let's do one
apparently they don't. The first people here back in the 1600s were not immigrants. They were settlers. They came to a society or a continent
that had
no country. They created this country. The Dutch, mostly the British, created America.
So they
were not immigrants.
So
nor were the first 17 presidents.
Your family came from another country, so did mine.
No, they weren't. My relatives are American.
All right, let's take a break.
You are a cultural imperialist.
Thank you so much. And
the rest of your profession seems to think its job is to demand apologies from Republicans. Never from Democrats. No, Obama will never be asked to apologize for something. Hillary will never be asked to apologize for something. As I say in the book, I think there are more child molesters than genuine racists in America.
But you actually believe that?
I can save you a lot of time. Anything I say, I actually believe.
Do you?
So do you think that children of undocumented immigrants should be denied in-state tuition because of someone else's illegal actions?
I gather you're saying that because, oh, what about the children? It's not. Well, look, anybody any parent breaking the law is going to be a problem for the child. Those Enron executives, their children have suffered horribly. Should we just say, oh no, we can't put the Enron executives in prison, those BP officials? If they have to pay those huge fines, their children will suffer, and it's not the children's fault. I'm sorry, when people break the law, there are consequences for the kids. It is whenever parents break the law. Oh, well.
And her name was Rennie, I can't pronounce the last name.
Riefenstahl.
Riefenstahl, thank you.
Right, celebrated by Hollywood.
She had a shocking resemblance to you, and do you realize that she did more to promote hatred? A filmmaker.
That's a very good argument. Okay. I'm much like a Nazi.
So, my point
Liberals are just getting smarter and smarter. I don't engage in hate speech. I engage in speech. And yes, it's part of the long Anglo-Saxon tradition of thinking that free speech and the contest of ideas, the truth will emerge. It goes back to John Stuart Mill.
Well, I think the people that are standing here will agree with me
of a place like America,
some of the things that you've been saying and continue to say and spewing hate speech.
Next question, Ray Lastre.
You don't have a tradition of John Stuart Mill.
Last question, go ahead.
I came here with a shirt that says traitor here, and she actually signed it up there, and she says, what did she? Have fun in Guantanamo.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, I know.
Don't you think this is a stronger nation because it's more diverse, more tolerant?
It's not more diverse, it's more Mexican.
I think it's more diverse, much more diverse.
No, it
in 2044, minorities will be the majority in this.
But it isn't diverse.
I think diversity is just fantastic.
No, you
I
don't.
think diversity
you want it to
is
be
beautiful.
All Mexican.
No. I think we're just arguing for more diversity and more tolerance in this country.
We have taken in 1/4 of the entire Mexican population. At what point will we have taken in enough, in your view?
I think that with a legal system,
the entire Mexican population.
No, I think with a legal system, we wouldn't need, and we wouldn't be having hundreds of people dying crossing the border.
That isn't an answer to the question. 1/4 of the Mexican population. How much
because
more do we have to take?
It's an economic situation. As long as you have people here who need immigrants and workers, and as long as you have workers needing a job, they're going to be coming here. It's an economic
they need
situation.
Workers who are subsidized by the middle class.
This is a serious issue, and to send out a victim to wave our Constitution at us and tell us our Constitution requires us to admit Muslims? No, it doesn't.
I mean, in a way, I don't blame the immigrants. I blame the politicians. This is very clear from my book. This is a bad, corrupt policy, and it is being pushed by the Democrats because they want poor people who will be forever in need of government assistance. They can employ lots of government workers, so it helps the Democrats that way. It helps the elites and people in need of a lot of cheap labor who refuse to mechanize, farmers, and of course, Wall Street bankers. They all have nannies, they have chefs, they have gardeners. Their lives are so much better. So to help some tiny little elite, we are bringing in poorer people who will need welfare, but they'll block vote for the Democrats.
Who said, adios, America,
I have a column. Well,
have the left conspiring to make this a third world hellhole.
Okay, you can complain about my title later.
Do you really believe that the left is conspiring to make this a third world hellhole? That it's a conspiracy?
Yes, because they're winning elections now. Obama would not have won election but for the post-1970
I remember what they said about the Irish in the 19th century, the same thing. The Democrats are bringing in the Irish because they want to be able to,
Not only were they right, but we were allowed to criticize the Irish. We're not allowed to criticize Hispanics or be accused of racism. No, only African Americans can claim racism, not somebody who arrived yesterday.